Hi, this is Dave Philippi with FabCAD, and today we're going to go over how to draw a Chippendale railing. So I thought I would show you a picture of where we're going to be going with this. And this style is very popular on the East Coast and seeing a lot of evidence of it gaining popularity in other parts of the country. And one of the problems with it is just making sure that the spacing of these members are all the same and just getting them on the screen. It just takes it's a tedious job if you draw everything individually. So we're going to show you some layout tools, show you how you can do a double mirror command to just draw half of it to get the design that you want. And we're going to do a stair rail because that's harder to do than doing a level rail, which is easy to mirror. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to draw a basic railing. So I'm going to use the stair rail program to do that. So I'll click that and I'm going to import a template, and I created one. It's called Chip Rail. So I'll click OK. And I've got my parameters all set here. It's just a small interior Chippendale rail, a few steps, 5 steps, whatever it is. And I draw next. And it's going to be a 1x3 top bar, 3-inch square tube, 1-inch square tube, and give it a wood look type appeal. And then I'm going to use default from my ball cap and then draw the railing. And there's the layout of the rail. Now, we're only going to use parts of this. So I'm just going to erase pickets. We don't need that dimension there. Because we're going to put a pattern inside here, and I'm going to erase that dimension there. And then I'm going to offset the top line down 4 inches. So I'll use offset, and I'll type in 4. So I will select the object to offset, which is this top bar here. Make that 4 inches. And then I'm going to offset again. And I'm going to do 1.5 to make it the same thickness as the top bar. Now, if you don't have 1 1/2 inch tubing, then you can offset that 1 inch. Works for you. Just make sure whatever you do, when you show this to the customer, you do exactly what you've drawn, because one advantage of CAD obviously is you can show the customer exactly what it's going to look like, but you better make sure you deliver exactly what you drew. Okay, so we'll trim this off here. And then we'll draw the basis of the frame. So I'm going to draw a line from there to there, and a line from there to there. Okay? Now the body of this design is going to be 1 inch. So when I go to offset, I'm going to offset on either side of the center line. So the offset distance would be 0.5, which will give me a 1 inch member. So I'll go from here and offset down, and go from here and offset up. You notice with the offset command with the newer versions, it previews where that offset line goes. There and there. Okay. Now I'm going to trim off the middle line, but I'm not going to erase it because I want to use the center part of this. So when I go to trim, I'm just going to right click and trim to the nearest line. And the little X that I'll leave in the center will come in handy as reference points when I'm developing the rest of the railing. You'll see that as we go along. Okay, the next thing we need to do is we want to evenly space out the members from this point down to this point down here. Let me first trim off, right click, trim off these members here. There, zoom in. That's an extend. I hold the shift key down and that goes to extend, and that extends that. Go up here and trim this. Trim this. I don't know if that's extended. I hold the shift key down and hit it. Yeah, okay. Can barely see it, but anyway. Now, so we want to evenly space patterns this direction here. I'm going to draw, to do that, I'm going to draw a reference line from this point to this point. Now, when you lay out a picket railing, if you're using the divide and measure command, if you want the end gap and the center gaps to be the same, you have to extend that line that you're going to measure and divide by half the distance of whatever the picket is. So in this one, we're using 1 inch members. This mark here is halfway, so that gets me a 1/2 inch extension on that end. To extend this end here, I click on the grip, and I'll take off ortho here, and I'll move in the direction I want to go. And I'm just going to type 0.5, and that makes that a 1/2 inch longer. That way, the end gaps and the center gaps will be the same. Now, the code is 4 inches, so I want to see how many pickets I need to meet that code. I'm going to use the measure command, and I'm going to measure it says specify length segment. I want to say 5, because center to center with a 1-inch picket, I need to have at least a 4-inch gap. So hit 5 and enter. So it's marking off 5 inches here up this line. And it tells me I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I need 5 pickets, 5 of these members to meet the code. So I'm going to erase these nodes here because I'm going to now divide it. So to get 5 nodes on the divide command, I need to divide the line into 6 segments to get 5 nodes. So I divide this and put in 6 and enter. Now I got 5 nodes, but these are all evenly spaced. These are not hatched out at 5-inch increments. All right, so now I'm ready to copy this piece here down and create my first part of this pattern. So I'm going to go to the copy command, and we'll pick this line here. And the base point I'm going to use is this point here. I'm going to use the array option, and it's asking me for the number of items in the array, and that's going to be, if you count the other piece, it'll be 6. And as I move out here, you can see I'm going to go up here and snap to node, and boom, there it is. Okay, now the next thing I need to do is trim off these pieces. So I'm going to hit trim, and I'm going to use this as a cutting edge, and this is a cutting edge. And then I'm going to go in and trim all those, and then trim, make sure I trim the right ones now. Okay, then I erase these nodes. Oops, didn't want to erase that. Erase. Okay, I've got 1/4 of this railing drawn. Next thing I need to do is do the same thing along this member here and copy these pieces across to create half of the Chippendale pattern. So I'll start again with a line. I'm going to draw a line from here to there. And then I'm going to extend this line. Well, I got a reference point for this one to that end point there, and I'm going to extend this one a 1/2 inch this way, 0.5. Then I'm going to measure it again, 5 inches on center. So I need 3 members on this length. So I'm going to erase this and divide it into 4 segments to give me 3 nodes. Then I'm going to copy this piece, and I'm going to use my base point here, end point, that, and I'm just going to just snap to these nodes. There's only 3 of them, so just keep it simple. Node there, there, and node there. Okay. Then I'll trim this off. So I'll go trim, and I want to trim from here and trim to this point here. So I'm going to cross through all of those and then go up here and get this, this. Okay, and somehow I forgot to trim this off. Let me go to trim and right click. I'm just going to trim the nearest line here. There, okay. So now I have half of this railing drawn. Now I could go through and draw a lot of lines and measure and divide and do all that kind of stuff, but I'm just going to mirror it. But when I went to mirror this, I noticed that one mirror wasn't enough. I had to mirror it twice. So let me show you what happened there. So let me just put on ortho so I'll mirror it straight. So I'll go to the mirror command, and I'll mirror. You may find that too when you're making scroll designs, that sometimes you have to mirror it twice to get it to where you want. So anyway, mirror. Okay, and the mirror point, another reason for saving this is I've got my center right here. So then I just do one mirror, that, then I go to mirror again, because I got to mirror it twice, because it doesn't work. I tried 45-degree mirrors and all that, but it didn't work. You have to just do a straight ortho mirror twice, and you'll get it. I'll see you in a second. And I'll go in here and hit this again, the intersection of midpoint, and then hit mirror twice. Now, at the bottom it says, do you want to erase the source objects? A lot of times we say no. If you're doing a gate or something, you want to keep the other leaf. But here I want to say yes. because I don't want to keep that original. And now I've got my Chippendale rail all set to go. And I've solved a couple of main issues. Evenly spacing everything. So let's take a look at some of those. Make sure the spacing is right. So we'll start with here to there. It's 3 5/8. Let's try what it's like in the center here. 3 5/8. So it worked out pretty good. Let's try this one. The middle dimension is 2 15/16, and this one here, from here to here, 2 15/16. So the spacing's worked out. We've saved a lot of time by double mirroring, and you've got your Chippendale rail all ready to go. And if you cut these things the exact length, you probably don't need to worry about spacing, because once you jam them inside the frame, the spacing should automatically be there. So I hope this helps cut out a lot of the extra steps you need involved to draw your Chippendale rails. Take care. Bye.